What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy, WTS Sporty, back with another video, back with another banger, back in your cell phone, man. Like, comment, subscribe, man, if you haven't done so already. Make sure you do that right now. But look, what we're going to get into is a video that I entitled, and that is entitled, by World List, 10 times snitching went wrong, man. Yeah. So this is basically one of them snitches get stitches type joints, you know what I'm saying, in a top 10 type of way. So let's fuck with it.
Number 10, Whitney Bulger. Whitney Bulger was a notorious gangster from the Boston area who turned into an FBI informant and helped the federal authorities to take down several members of his rival crime families.
That shit look like it's
However,
uncomfortable like a
after he got tipped
motherfucker.
off about the FBI turning on him, he spent 16 long years running from the feds. For 12 of those years, he was on the most wanted list of the FBI, underneath Osama bin Laden. Whitney was finally captured in the year 2011 and given 2 consecutive life sentences. Not only was he charged with things like racketeering and extortion, he was also charged for his involvement in 11 murders. Since 2011, he's spent his time incarcerated in the state of Florida, pretty much free from any ugly incidents. However, after he was transferred to West Virginia, he wound up dead the day after his arrival. His death was a pretty brutal one,
They got his ass
4
fast.
inmates were somehow able to walk into his cell at about 6 o'clock in the morning and beat him with a sock loaded full of metal locks. He then had his eyes gouged out of his skull, and the murderers even tried to cut out his tongue. This is pretty classic snitch murder stuff, as eyes and tongues were almost
Mafioso
always
shit.
removed back in the 30s and 40s when a hit was taken out on a snitch. Even though Whitney was a hardened criminal, he had snitched on way too many people, and those
crazy, man.
people
They
had
got
not
him
forgotten.
quick.
Snitches don't just get stitches. Most snitches, especially in gang-related situations, end up dead. Number 9, snitch with no reward. Frederick Cobia learned the hard way that being a snitch doesn't always pay off. In a Palm Beach County courtroom, veteran detectives and prosecutors stood up and vouched for a known murderer at his sentencing trial. They were trying to tell the judge that Frederick was a trusted ally of the police and that he'd actually helped them out a lot to put away many dangerous criminals by tattletaling.
Oh,
This
so
guy
he
was
was a
actually one
paid
of their
informant
favorite
type shit.
snitches
This
and was a
nigga
key
was living
witness in
foul.
roughly 24 cases over the past 10 years. But here's the deal. Frederick was also a heartless murderer who beat a man with the butt of his pistol and shot him to death in a 2009 home invasion. The attorney for Frederick wanted his sentence to be only 10 years on account of him helping the police. However, the judge didn't really care what he'd done for the police, seeing as he'd broken into a person's home and shot him to death in cold blood,
Beretta on him.
and then proceeded to rob them. So yeah, he gave Frederick 40 years for
Yeah, he
murder.
fucked that up
Snitch.
by robbing people, you know what I'm saying? He was kind of in the good graces. I mean, if he was going to live a snitch life, that's what he was going to do. But he was kind of in the good graces of the police and shit like that. And he going out there still committing crimes and shit like that. Shit, that nigga might as well have kept on snitching. It looked like that was a full-time job for this old suck-ass nigga. But let's keep rolling.
Or no snitch. Number 8, Rene Enriquez. Rene Boxer Enriquez was born in California in 1962. He was a gang member and an influential person in the Mexican mafia
Got that hand, the black hand, you know what I'm saying? Yes, sir.
before he turned into a rat, aka federal witness, back in 2003. He left the mafia and provided American authorities with intelligence on the very criminals he had worked closely with for years. He even showed up to be an expert witness in dozens of criminal trials. He was hoping to get out of prison once he helped the feds to lock up a large portion of the Mexican mafia. However, in 2015, his release was blocked because of him being a snitch. The judge said that wherever he went, he would be a danger to the people around him because the Mexican mafia wanted him dead, and the judge was right.
There's whoever seen Cocaine Cowboys, when La Madrina, she gave a hit out to her you know, her goons, you know what I'm saying? And told the goons to hit him at a certain restaurant, and she gave the order to spray the whole table. So they, you know, are willing to, you know, fucking murk out 20, 30, 40, 50 people just to get 1 or 2 people. Kids, elderly people, mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters involved. You know, some people take it that seriously, and they wait and they plan it out and they do it strategically. You feel me? But yeah, man, that's crazy.
He was on
So
there.
that's what would make him a danger. The fact that the people on his head, are known for spraying the whole fucking table, type shit.
Hit list for cooperating with the cops. Also, he happened to be a registered sex offender. If he was put
That's
into witness
another thing.
protection,
That's another thing, man. You got that snitch jacket and you got that sex offender's jacket. Man, what do you call those things? A voodoo doll? You like one fucking voodoo doll. Like if anybody, it doesn't matter. Not just this guy right here. That's anybody that go into the system with that type of jacket on them. Snitch and child offender, sex offender. Man, you like a voodoo doll, pin cushion. You're going to get poked up. Straight up. That's crazy. That's crazy.
He wouldn't appear as a registered offender, and this was not okay with the ruling authorities. And it's not okay with us either. So he became a snitch for nothing. Rene was denied parole again in 2017 and again in 2019. In fact, he's still rotting in prison and will probably never be let out, even though he snitched on one of the most dangerous mafias in America and put multiple criminals behind bars. Number 7, cash for snitches. In China, apparently it pays to be a snitch. In a totally bizarre move, China has begun targeting people who owe money to the government and other businesses by posting advertisements on the popular application WeChat, where they offer cash money to people who rat out their friends and family. How this works is that if you know a person who owes the Chinese government money and you see the advertisement on your phone, if you tell the government who they are and what kind of money they owe, you yourself will get paid. They're actually trying to create a society in which people earn money for snitching on other people when they do something the government
do not bring that to America, bro. Oh, fuck that. Don't bring that shit to America.
Or one way to fill the government's pockets. It just depends on how you look at it. But here's where things get even crazier. These same advertisements are being used to try and catch social dissidents. Rewards of up to $1 million are being advertised on the application for bad people who the government are often after for crimes like mobilizing social forces, whistleblowing, and not paying back debts. The ads come complete with pictures of the individuals, as well as full information on who they are and what kind of crime they've committed. What do you think about a name and shame system like this? Do you think
that's kind of like an invasion of privacy, but that is a good thing. I guess you would want to know who's around you. I mean, that wouldn't be a bad app, you know what I'm saying, to kind of give you a background check. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know about that. Technology just makes the possibilities, available. This is why I'm talking about it, because I know the technology is there. The AI is there. But, back in the 80s and the fucking 90s and shit, niggas wasn't talking like this. Nigga, I wish I could, get a background. We would go through other people. It'll be word of mouth type shit, how we'll do a background check on a person, a.k.a. vetting out your friends. The same thing I'm talking about is basically the same equivalent of vetting out friends. You know what I'm saying? And but just imagine if you had the capabilities and the technology to fucking vet out your friends by learning their criminal background and just a personal biological background of people that decide to be your friend. That's crazy, dude.
Think it's a good idea or a bad one? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section down below. And if you're liking this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Number 6, Facebook Mole. We've heard of Facebook being used to catch idiot people committing stupid crimes and helping solve cases. But this is something else entirely. A mother of 7 in Illinois has been accused of encouraging her Facebook followers to kill a gang member who turned into a mole for the FBI in a case of stolen weapons. The mother is named...
I've seen some shit like that. I mean, it happens every day, especially in the music industry, you know what I'm saying, or the social media industry, you know what I'm saying, where people throw out subliminals, and it's kind of like Biggie Smalls did that shit to the Dog Pound when they was shooting a video for New York. In New York, Biggie Smalls went on the radio, Hot 97. You know what I'm saying? He got on the radio, Hot 97, called up there to the radio station and fucking said, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Dog Pound out here shooting a video and shit like that. Yeah, we gonna let him do it or some shit like that. Something like, don't quote me 100. You can always go back and reference. All this shit is public record. But he did that same shit, So I can see what he means by that. But that's crazy. Yeah, you can use social media in that form. That was that was kind of like a sense of social media. You feel me? The radio. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, dude, he did that shit. So whoever this person is that this guy's talking about that did that shit through Facebook, same type shit. And niggas shot they video shoot up. Dog Pound got up out of there, baby. They did not stay. They got up out of there. You know what I'm saying? So the spot did get shot up. So that shit did happen. Niggas did go and do that immediately. They didn't wait. But let's keep rolling. I'm gonna stop talking.
Leisha Stansell, and she got busted after being caught with a new AR-15 assault
Damn, that
rifle
bitch
that was
wasn't
stolen
playing,
from
fool.
a freight train in September of
God
2016.
damn.
A man named Brian
Heavy
Stafford
shit.
was also arrested, but then
That bitch had the wet work, nigga. She was part of the wet work team. Shit, having some shit like that, fully modified AR-15. Yeesh. Yeah, she wasn't fucking around.
he turned into a mole and started ratting out other people, allegedly. Leisha, angry about her own arrest, went on Facebook and posted pictures of Brian and encouraged anyone who saw him to shoot him in the head. Naturally,
Wow.
the police were not super happy.
No bounty though? She ain't offering no money? Just shoot him in the head for free, huh? Just crash your life and throw it away. Go to because you might get caught. You know, whoever click a like on it, I'm pretty sure they'll investigate the whole backward stream technology and all the way to the IP address type shit. You know how they get down. Wow. So, yeah, she became dangerous at that point. That's tacky. That's tacky.
Happy about this. She now faces charges of cyber stalking along with the gun charges. When
Yeah.
asked to be released pending her trial, the judge said no based on the Facebook post, saying she was too dangerous to be out on the streets. So yeah, not so surprising that Facebook
I didn't want to
and
say
the
that
law
shit,
look
but
down
yeah,
on
it's kind
heinous
of
posts
dangerous.
like
She
that.
doing shit like that.
Number 5. Snitches get stitches. A teenager in Grand Rapids has gotten in trouble for trying to kill another teenager and then burn his body in a mine dump because he thought he was going to snitch to the police about a fight. Yeah, it's probably a good thing this kid was caught with a crime like this early on in his life, because now police have the most likely future serial killer in their sights. This deranged teenager even enlisted the help of one of his deranged friends, who he later revealed he was planning to also kill if he became suspicious that his friend was going to snitch. In this case, nobody actually snitched, yet Tobias Lanham, just 18 years old, was charged with first and second degree abetting
That motherfucker
attempted
looked
murder.
28.
Tobias stabbed John
They
Bonet
gonna look
8
like no
times in the chest,
18-year-old,
legs,
goddamn.
spine, and abdomen, and then tried to slice his throat open. This was after luring Bonet to the mine dump with his friend, saying that they were all going to go there to party. After they got out of the car, Tobias called John a snitch and then pulled out a knife and started stabbing. The only reason the young kid survived was because another vehicle pulled up and Tobias and his friend ran away. And in the end, it was all over a stupid teenage fight that had broken out the week before, with Tobias trying to preemptively stop John from snitching. Number 4, Tekashi 6ix9ine. 23-year-old Daniel
You know his ass
Hernandez,
was gonna come
also
up.
known as Tekashi 6ix9ine,
Daniel
became extremely
Hernandez.
famous back in 2017 with his breakout rap hit Gunmo. The young rapper has long, colorful hair and tattoos all over his face and body. Have you seen him online before? Or have you heard any of his music? Well, he continued being famous thanks to trolling social media, but this kid's rap career has come to a grinding halt. It actually came to a halt last November when Daniel was arrested for racketeering and possession of weapons. It all has to do with his involvement in the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods gang. Vulture reported his arrest was part of a joint investigation by the NYPD, the Justice Department's Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, and the Department of Homeland Security. The arrest was rushed due to investigators' worries that Hernandez's former
Look at this shit, man. This dude is doing, and it's like, man, he did all that snitching and shit, and it did nothing to his. I mean, he's still outside. I mean, people be trying to talk shit. They say they shit about him. Ain't nobody touched this dude yet. Not even, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody been able to get close enough to him, see? And he hasn't been an outsider somewhere. Now, if he ever became an outsider somewhere consistently, you know, and he's the outsider, yeah, they'd probably touch him. You know, because you got to get caught slipping when you're a nigga like that. You can't, ain't nobody just going to be bold enough and walk up on you and just like, what's up, nigga? Bop, bop. It ain't happening. You know, with him, they try to be slick, you know, you got to be slick about it type shit. But anyway, let's keep rolling.
associates were planning to attack him. But after the arrest, Daniel decided he was gonna snitch on the members of his own gang. He implicated the gang members in a string of violent acts, like assaults and kidnappings, and even ousted his former manager as a high-ranking member of the criminal group. But it didn't stop there. He went on snitching and snitching, even alleging that Cardi B was a member of another Bloods gang. But for all his snitching, he's still finished. He now faces the possibility of life in prison, though his sentence could be reduced because of all the snitching. The problem for the rapper is that he'll never make another dollar now that the world knows he's got a big fat mouth and will.
And this video must have been made while he was still in jail or some shit like that. 'Cause that motherfucker he got a movie on Netflix and shit. That motherfucker got video games out and shit. Yeah, that didn't slow down his money. And he's still outside, he's still outside taunting people, still trolling. He's still talking shit. Yeah, man. He done linked up with a high-powered West Coast dude. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know if it's linked up, but, man, he's still in cahoots, man. He's still in cahoots out here, though. I don't think he lost no money. He probably lost a little bit on attorney fees and shit like that, but in reality, with all the shit that he been through, they tried to knock him out and shut him down, but, you know, that didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? They might have, you know, locked him out, you know, a little bit, but that didn't stop his flow. He's still, you know, he's still doing this shit, you know. Me, I don't condone it, you know what I'm saying, snitching, you know, shit. If you was going to do anything, do it by yourself. That way you ain't got to worry about no snitches. But, you know, in his situation, you know, he was in an organization because that's what it was, gang. But in reality, the shit's an organization, you know what I'm saying? And that's what happened, you know. He had a regular kid from the streets, and he found his way into a real live street urban organization, man.
Tell on everyone when he gets in hot
So it
water.
all comes with
Number
it.
3,
All the
informant
violence.
misconduct.
You want to be in the streets, it comes with violence.
Police
And for every, you know, and if you talking hella tough talking, you ain't got no L's and no scars or nothing like that from the streets. I ain't never got my ass whooped. I ain't never did it. If you ain't been through nothing, never been to jail, ass niggas, never did no work, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, just, come on, man. Multiple fights, fist fights, eating punches. It's all a part of the game, you know? So this is why this snitch episode is such a thing, because in a gang culture, you get put on, jumped into a gang to solidify your toughness, basically a physical and mental pressure test. How much pain can you take? You know what I'm saying? And after you've gone through it, while you fighting 4 or 5 dudes and they swinging on you like they don't even know you for like however many seconds they allow it for, you know what I'm saying? Then how do you deal with that shit mentally? So it's all a test. So you being put through all of that so that in an event something like this happens where, you know, your faith and your mental and your physical capacity has to be tested. You know, the gang wants to make sure, the organization wants to make sure that you're going to be okay. And you're not going to crack and start giving information and shit like that. You know, so this is why snitching is a big idea, because in a lot of organizations, a lot of street, especially from LA, where I'm from, California, street organizations, you know, the initiation fee is a hang around time. And then after that hang around time, dudes is like, all right, it's time to, you know, knock him out real quick, put him on the set. You know what I'm saying? Let's just see if he going to be able to eat them punches and he's going to keep swinging. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, that's why it's a big deal, because it's expected for you not to, you know, you should shoot your mom. You ain't supposed to be able to say, you ain't supposed to say nothing. So if you in them streets, don't complain about the rules. That's been a thing since I was in elementary school. So it is what it is. You know, if you from the city, nigga, we all dying with secrets. You know what I'm saying? Let's roll.
Detective has gotten himself in some serious trouble after sending inappropriate texts to an undercover informant. He's been sentenced to spend 5 days in jail and 18 months on probation, with special accommodations to be given because of his status as a former police officer. His name is Corey Buckley, and he was once given
Nigga,
the
the
Medal of
tacky
Valor
run.
in 2016 for saving the life of another police officer by killing an armed gunman in downtown Redmond. The encounter came with some complications, though. It led to a number of issues for Buckley, including undiagnosed post-traumatic stress disorder and alcohol abuse. But his time in the limelight is now over. While Buckley was working with the Central Oregon Drug Enforcement Team, he met a woman who became an informant by giving him the time and location of an upcoming drug bust. At the time, the woman had an open criminal case against her and was facing a possible prison sentence for her own involvement in the illegal drug trade.
Wow.
In exchange for the information, he gave her a $20 gift card. But here's where things get weird. Several weeks after she helped with the bust, Buckley began sending her inappropriate text messages. He then arranged to meet her outside of a local mall where he touched her inappropriately inside of his patrol car. The woman was so disturbed by his actions that she snitched on him to his police lieutenant. His career is now over and he's been publicly shamed.
357
Number 2,
Magnum.
Snitches get dismembered.
That wasn't no snitching thing. Usually, I mean, honestly, that shit only really applies to people in the streets, really. Not regular people. I mean, if you're a regular person, because it ain't just gangsters in the streets. You got some regular people that's not in a gang, they rob. You got some hustlers that's not even about anything violent. They just get money. And, you know, they might be in some type of beer sting ring or some type of, I don't know, drug trap. I don't know what the fuck it is out there. But, you know, when you're in the city, it's all kind of criminals. It's all type of elements out there. So if you're out there in the streets doing it really applies to people that's involved in illegal things. So if you're involved in illegal things in some kind of way or another, you're kind of tied to this, you know, snitches get stitches rule and don't snitch, you know, the shh, you know what I'm saying, code. If you're involved in anything illegal, that's the best way I can put it. And I ain't trying to create no rules for the streets. I'm just saying, like, if somebody was to ask me, you know, what is snitching and who does it apply to, I would definitely say it would apply to anybody that is involved or have been or tied or is tied to the streets in some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? And that's it.
A police informant was slain after a police officer she'd been working with exposed her as an informant. This was a gross act of misconduct on behalf of the police in Detroit, and Oakland County has finally agreed to pay $1 million in a settlement with the dead woman's family. Here's how it started. Shelley Hillard got busted with marijuana at a motel in 2011 at the age of 19. She agreed to give up her supplier so she wouldn't have to face any charges and her record would stay clean. Police were then able to arrest the drug dealer a few hours later. Just a couple of days later, Shelley wound up dismembered and dead. A police officer had given the details of Shelley to the drug dealer, revealing her as the informant.
Damn.
In revenge, the criminal gang that her drug dealer was associated with tracked her down, chopped up her body into pieces, and then set her on fire. The murderer, Kasim Rakib, has been sentenced to 25 years in prison for her murder. Number 1, the drunk Russian. In November of 2015, a police officer in St. Petersburg, Russia, met with an informant. The officer's name was Andrei Artemyev. When he met the informant, he had already been drinking pretty heavily that night. For whatever reason, the two began exchanging heated words. Andrei pulled his gun from its holster and started waving it around like a lunatic. During all the waving, his finger hit the trigger, and he shot and killed the informant. It was a drunken accident, but Andrei got charged anyway with abusing authority and misusing his firearm.
There wasn't no mistake that he hit the informant. You better believe that. There wasn't no motherfucking mistake that he hit the informant. Nigga, ain't no informant. Ain't no case. You know what I'm saying? The informant got hit, so the snitch is gone. You know what I'm saying? He didn't get no stitches. He got holes. Straight up.
Prosecutors wanted to give the cop 12 years in prison for murder, but the judge wasn't having any of that. Instead, the officer got charged with criminal negligence and only spent 9 months behind bars.
What? Yo, it is what it is, man. Cops privilege, blue blood gang, sheriffs, green blood gang. You already know how it is. They got their thing going on. It is what it is. I'm way too sporty. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. 10 times snitching went wrong. Man, that was crazy and shit like that. But hey, if you're involved in the streets, you know what it is. If you're not involved in the streets, fall back, calm down, relax. This don't apply to you. You a civilian. All right, man. Way too sporty. I'm out this day. Peace.